You know how it works, Keith Pitt. I mean, you've sat there in ERCs like I have. These are budget committees, people at home. Sorry for the lingo. These are budget committees. And it's an attempt by governments to ramp up the migration number, because that ramps up the growth number, makes the bottom line look better. They don't have to live with the impacts of high migration because they don't live in the suburbs where the migrants first moved to. And we know in per capita terms, so per head of population, we're already in a recession. This just bails out a debt-laden state Labor governments, makes their numbers look better than they should be. It makes, tricks people into thinking we're not as bad off if you look at the budget numbers. But it's this influx of people it's killing communities.
Oh, Peter, we shouldn't underestimate what's happening here. The forecast is some 500,000 people in net migration for 1 year, just 1 year. That is the equivalent of the entire city of Canberra arriving in 12 months. And how on earth will we house them? I don't think we can turn out enough caravans, no matter enough rental properties and new homes and jobs. And, this just doesn't cut the mustard, mate. This is about Labor ensuring that in the majority, it's more Labor voters. That's what they're looking for. This is the equivalent of 3 federal seats almost. It is just an astounding decision,
and I have to,
and every Australian is paying for it.
Yep. And I might add too, it's a seat in a school, it's an ambulance, it's a hospital bed, it's all the other things beyond housing. Yep. Let's go to the Youth Climate Change Protest Group. This is the Australian Youth Climate Coalition, Gary. They've got a very clever strategy to manipulate a whole lot of algorithms, to send information on the social media of older Australians. They open up a couple of climate stories and suddenly they start to get more and more climate stories all sent to them on the website. It looks very innocuous, but it's meant to just fill their feed up, whether it's on their phone or on their computer, with pro-climate, pro-net zero information. The first thing I'd say, they're kidding themselves if they think old people are that stupid that they'll swallow this rubbish. Some of my smartest viewers, the stuff that they send me is fantastic, but this doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't. Everybody's sort of beating up older Australians, through all these algorithms. You've got, big power companies sending out dodgy bills. You've got all sorts of other things going on. I shan't go into the detail, but I hear a lot of stories. Peter, bottom line here is that what older Australians should do is respond to their younger members of their family and say, what's actually occurring is you're going to be set up with a debt that you're going to spend your whole lifetime paying. And by the way, when you have children and grandchildren, they'll still be paying it. Because all of the nonsense that big corporates, that the big super funds investing in various companies are driving this kind of change, it's purely about the whole logic of bringing Australia to its knees. Driving up the cost of living is just one aspect of it, but the whole power and renewable task that they want to undertake is going to set us up for big debt and no power, no electricity, no industry, no basis to create jobs for the future. So that's the response. They're the facts getting in the way of a good story, but I would just simply delete and ignore all of those ads that are being pushed to you on the various so-called social but really anti-social media.
Keith, just quickly, I want to go to Murray Watt, Queensland Federal Minister for Emergency Management. He says Australia needs perhaps a new paid firefighting service. He's worried about bushfires, as we are. I'd have to say the states need to start looking after their volunteers better. They need to replace the equipment. They need to stop layering them with all these regulations. In the case of Victoria, they need to get rid of the vaccine mandates. But I see this perhaps, Keith, as a stealth move. If it was a paid firefighting service at a Commonwealth level, well, I suspect it would be unionised as well.
It would be a paid union position, no doubt about it, Peter. But I think this is a tragedy in the making. Australia has been built off the back of volunteers. And when you're looking at fighting fires, I've got 10-year service medals over the back of my shoulder, mate. And the reality is straightforward. You need that local knowledge. You need people who are passionate about their community. And you need lots of them. When fire season is on, you need all hands on deck. We're a really big country with a very small population by comparison. I'm not sure quite how Murray Watt thinks this will work. And I know the volunteers I talk to, they are sick of things being centralised. Decisions out of Canberra, decisions out of Brisbane, decisions out of capital cities. They just want to fight fires and protect their community.
Yeah.
Spot on, gents. I'll leave it there. Volunteers I spoke to today have exactly the
Thanks,
same
Peter.
view. Gary Hargrave, Keith Pitt, thank you both for your time.